Can you all hear me?
You go home, walk the dog, and then she sat down and started a conversation.
Oh, yeah. She and Debbie and I were sitting for a while, and then of course, Herbert was settled on Jim's lap.
Oh, too.
So we just did not like,
How could he leave?
yeah, how could you leave when Herbert was all happy?
Was that the dog Levi was carrying around all night?
The cat.
Okay,
Yeah.
with the bad paw.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Bad call.
Who else are we expecting?
Everybody else. Where's the speaker coming from? There's like back.
Come from out. It's in the chamber.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll shut the door.
Yeah, I want to say it was around 10 that we left.
Two or three floors of. Yeah. Ice cream, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a street that he lives on. I really think probably would be best if it was one way.
I do wonder though, if you didn't have that many people over, you wouldn't have had that much parking, like. Pretty similar to when we lived in the city of St. Louis. That's about.
We've got food and other room.
That's the advantage of house with bigger lots, Keith. But it's us out in the county,
Mhm.
driving up the cost of the infrastructure. We gotta give Jacob. Gotta give Jacob credit.
I do sometimes, I think I'm the allergic to them now. It's my, it's like. That's actually your body saying it, like, you can, but I'm still young.
When you don't care.
I figured I should do that, right, like.
Everybody say a good time to this.
Todd is virtual, but everybody else is planning.
I told you this, but my dad.
Can you guys hear me?
I don't know if you can see me.
That's right.
You get it to his groceries, he closed up and I had to tell him when it was.
Can you hear us?
I can hear everyone in the room. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Good, thank you. Are we starting soon or do we have 10 minutes?
You want to start, Keith, or you want to wait?
How long is it gonna take this stuff?
How long do you think? 25 minutes?
Up till 6.
Yeah.
Up till 6,
Yeah.
okay. You gotta take a break there, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna grab a soda downstairs in the lobby, but we don't, if we're gonna meet right away, don't worry about it.
We've got a couple people that aren't here yet.
Run.
Okay, I'll be back in a couple minutes, okay?
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, we're starting now.
What?
I go probably after like 6:30. Who's going to APA tomorrow? Jacob and I are going, Mary's going. You're going? I think that's it.
Are you doing Admin?
Hmm?
Are you doing touch app?
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Can't tell when the workshop ends and the social part begins.
I know.
I think
So-
it's 2 or 2:30.
Yeah, I may not be
Something
going
like
back.
that down there.
Alas.
Mel, did you see that Katie did yet?
Yeah,
And she was doing it right.
yeah. I think it was sort of a, mist or something.
Mhm.
Jacob, I've got great news. It went through. So I don't know if our part helped or not.
He was just trying to finally get to someone who could answer
Yeah.
why.
I didn't realize it had been submitted in April. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, oh, this was just a couple.
No.
Oh my God.
No, that's why she got in touch with me because it
Right.
had been since April and she's like,
Do you think there's anybody downstairs trying to get in and didn't bring their badge? Because
And then
I think that, I don't think the security's gonna walk over. it.
Started, she said 7. and then she has to come in.
Yeah,
He wasn't helping.
no, they weren't.
Rebecca asked about dinner, so I know she was coming.
What? She might be outside trying to get in. If she didn't bring her badge, could you get to that?
I don't usually bring mine, so I'm glad I did.
Oh, no.
He wouldn't even let me in the elevator area. She's like, you have to let yourself in. I was like, oh, I've never done that before.
Very secure.
Very secure. Just safe.
I thought it was just
Because I
me.
said-
I've never had to
Just like the lady
wave
over
multiple
there.
times.
People might forget. She goes, oh, wow. That's exactly what she said.
Hello.
Think about it. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
You've got her badge.
I'm not.
Oh, we've got food in the next room.
Cool again.
We missed Chris.
Here's Chris
Oh
calling
my
me right
gosh,
now.
but they don't,
Hello.
security down there don't get up and open the door.
Yeah, Abby's on her way.
You have to call
Okay.
somebody in
Bye.
there to let you in.
I had to
I can't they see
get
him?
my
But they should just open the doors.
back there too.
Yes, I just had one of my badge tonight with me. I don't always have it with me. Everyone's so quiet, like little church mouse.
Mouthful.
Everybody's better, but.
Okay.
How long have you been at GRV now?
16.
Well, it has more than there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. I know, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go on that sales tax with me.
No, I had capital at my house. I am this.
Or I need to house.
Oh, right.
Your son coming home.
Oh, man, I was just going home on Friday.
I'm sure staying. I come back.
For a month, they're gonna be, here in Chicago.
We got reason.
Loyal.
I'm back if you're waiting on me. Sorry.
Chris is on his way up, so it's not just you, Todd.
I feel a little bit better then. Thank you.
It's like super flavorful. I don't think I've ever had. Yeah, I've never had Jimmy John's roast beef. We gotta see what's inside of these guys.
vinegar is this thing.
All those brave people who decided, I'll see what they think.
Yeah.
That's why.
And all the other gyms, try things and then die. What if you turn this for?
Chris in there getting
So we went to the party on Friday night. Were you there?
Fearful laughter.
Just for a little bit. I didn't get to stay long.
I thought I'd be able to check mine, but I didn't.
Oh.
He's so rolled away, I think they're going to.
Oh, I love the Jimmy Peppers. I wish there was some. Those hot peppers.
Oh. It's up down.
Pepperoncinis.
Yeah, those hot
Those are-
peppers. Jimmy Peppers. I don't really want something.
All right.
That's not gonna.
Take a roll. You have to be ready.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay. Here we go. I'm ready.
Hello, Christopher.
Okay, I'd like to bring this December 8th work session to order. Take roll, please.
Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Mr. Bedell,
Here.
Ms. Hancock. Here. Ms. Perry. Here. Ms. Hart.
Here.
Ms. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Cake.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Come on. Okay,
Awesome.
right ahead there.
Thank you for coming to this mini monthly education thing that we're gonna do. We do have executive meeting at 6, so it's not gonna be too long. But we thought that since you guys usually interact with petitions and things that come with the commission, starting with the public hearing, it might be illuminating to hear a little bit about what the department does leading up to the public hearing. It might be some things you already know. It might be a little dry, but it is a good insight into what we're doing before you see that. So just to give an overview of what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to go a little bit quickly, so if you feel like asking a question or something, just interrupt me. So before something goes to the goes to public hearing, it starts with staff. Most normally, we receive a communication or inquiry from somebody wanting to do something very generally. And then there is a pre-application meeting held with the principal planner and lead planner and myself that starts directing people to the application phase. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Then to continue with the overview, the application is submitted. The application is reviewed for the minimum standard of bringing it to public hearing. And then it is accepted, and we do what we are required to do by the zoning ordinance for noticing before every public hearing. So you do have flowcharts in front of you. You've probably seen them before, but what we're going to be talking about tonight in this portion is just those two paint boxes at the beginning. So this is everything that happens before the public hearing, before you guys see the petitions. The first major step is, like I mentioned, the pre-application meetings. We do have a form for that. That is also in front of you, just as an example. But basically, when somebody comes to the county and they have something to do, and they're something that they want to do that can't already be done by right in the district that their property is in, then we will offer them this form to schedule a pre-application meeting. And then it's not always somebody reaching out directly. It can also be just a building permit when they get to a point where the building plan reviewer is like, you're going to need to do some zoning action before you proceed, or occasionally a zoning violation where somebody's already doing something that is not allowed on that site. So this year we reformed a little bit the pre-application process, and now we do them in fixed blocks on Mondays and Tuesdays most weeks, and most of them are over Teams. So pre-applications are useful because they improve the quality of the applications that we get once they actually apply. It's helpful to not have to do a lot of review in advance of the public hearing. So we want the applications to be as good as reasonably possible before they actually send it to us, because it's less review on our end. So in these pre-application meetings, we are asking about their proposed use, the existing use. We look at the plans if they have them available, and if there's any glaring red flags, we'll mention it then. We won't do too in-depth review of the plan, of course. It's mostly just about the use and just about what they're trying to get accomplished on the site. And we use these meetings to kind of direct the potential petitioners into a request that is reasonable, a request that can feasibly be made, because property owners do have the right to petition the planning commission, but not every type of request is possible or appropriate to the planning commission. So during these meetings is when we would say there's a recommendations that the county can give to the developer to make it a smoother application process. So also during these meetings, we tell them about the time frame of the planning commission. 4 to 6 months is what is usually said. And throughout this, we kind of hone what will eventually be the application that gets to us. So I wanted to include one example of why pre-application meetings can be helpful, and that is PC 31-25, Daniel Ambrose. It was just a straight change from last month. But we met with Mr. Ambrose at a pre-application meeting, and his initial request was he saw all his neighbors also had C-8 ordinances, and they were functioning in ways that he was interested in functioning. So to him, the easiest way was just, I want to get that C-8, put me down for the C-8. And then throughout the process of this pre-application meeting, we heard what he was trying to do and what he wanted to get done at the site. And the department recommended a cheaper for the petitioner and simpler request, which was the straight change that you all eventually did here. So that is part of the usefulness of a pre-application meeting, when the department can use its expertise on this side of the process to produce better applications and help petitioners understand it before they get to the next step in the process. So now just to talk about the actual application materials, we have the forms in front of you, the two types of forms that we use for the Planning Commission. The one on this left, the black and white one, is for straight changes. So this would be any district to any other district that is not a planned district. They get this black and white form, which has slightly lower requirements for the application package. And then on the right is the purple form for the slightly more complex requests, like planned districts, special procedures, like conditional use permits, PEUs, and that kind of thing. These forms are part of the package that people have to give to us in the process of going to the Planning Commission. Overall, it includes this form. We need a legal description as a Word document, specifically as a Word document, because once it eventually turns into the ordinance, the county councilor's office, we basically give them the task of indexing the legal description so it can be used by the county in multiple ways. We ask for a survey that matches the legal description. This is not necessarily the site plan, just the out boundary, so we know the specific plot within the county that you're petitioning. Straight changes have a fee of $1,500, as well as PUs and conditional use permits and a few other of those procedures. And then for planned districts, it is $2,000 because that involves more review by planners and just slightly more input by the department. And then we also require preliminary site plans for all requests except for the straight changes. So that black form for just the simple straight changes, if you are applying with that, you don't need to submit a site plan because theoretically, we don't need to know more than which zoning district you're changing it to because they will be able to develop anything by right after that point.
If they're doing a straight zoning and then also adding a CUP or doing a straight zoning and then doing a floodplain zoning, do they pay twice?
Yes. So that a lot of times with the two-pronged requests, which it will be a change of zoning first, which they paid $1,500 for, and then whatever comes next, they also would have had to pay for that, whether it was another $1,500 or $2,000. So reviewing the application is not as in-depth as site plan review. It is basically reviewing the materials they've submitted to us and making sure that they meet the minimum standard to bring it to you all at the public hearing. So that includes looking at, if it's not a straight change, looking at the plan. I'll review the parking calculations. I'll check for landscaping based on what they need there. Just plan details that is useful for public input and commissioner input, dimensions, those kind of small things. This is not fully in depth in the same way that site plan review would be. It is just getting it to basically a presentable level that it can be brought to the commission and the public for consideration before going further in depth. And the big thing about this application process is that petitioners aren't going to the board, to the commission rather, until they get an acceptance letter from us. And that is the letter that gives them the details, tells them that they need to submit a PowerPoint, gives the date and the time, the location, basically all the coordination that happens between the department and the petitioner happens between accepting the application once they meet the minimum standards and tonight, the public hearing. This is an example of an acceptance letter. I don't have one printed out physically for you guys, but this just shows that basically housekeeping stuff. You're telling them you'll need to be here at this time in order to address the commission for this to proceed. If you don't come here, it won't be heard on that night. Basically, so they can't come back and say, you guys never told us this, because it's all in the letter. You wouldn't have gone to public hearing if you didn't get all this information. That is the usefulness of.
But I should send
that letter.
email, via email,
Right, yes,
not certified.
correct. And then once we have everything accepted, usually it's a maximum of 6 per the bylaws. It was 7 this time. So we got special permission, but once everything has been accepted, the department is tasked to fulfill several public noticing requirements in the zoning ordinance.
I'm sorry, it's usually 6 or 7 what?
Public hearing.
Petitions,
Petitions.
yeah, petitions in one hearing, yeah, my bad. So one of the requirements in section 300, which is the part of the zoning ordinance that governs the public noticing requirements, is to send our agenda to the county. It could be any newspaper, but historically the county and sends agendas to the county, which publishes the agenda no less than 15 days before the public hearing. And that counts as like the major noticing advertisement fulfillment for that public hearing. We also are required by the zoning ordinance to send postcards specific to each petition to parcels within 1,000 feet of the petition parcel. And this is just an additional call for, hey, we're doing a public hearing. If you want to give public comment, you can come here at this time. We give them information about what the request is, date, location, that kind of thing. So theoretically, anybody in the area who wants to come should hopefully be aware that they have the opportunity to come. And then I think this is the last slide. Maybe I went a little too fast, but oh, not really. But so site visits are kind of the last piece before public hearing. The zoning ordinance requires us to put these signs on each property no less than 15 days before public hearing. You guys might have seen these before. They're on all the slides, so you definitely have. So this is when we will put up the signs. Planners will take photos of their site, take inventory of what it looks like, prepare to write the report, and just get a feel for a further understanding of what the request is being made during those site visits. And that is all I have for you guys for this little education thing. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
I do have a question about something else on the zoning process because I think it applies tonight. When we did Robert's rules, we said that all the petitions the motions were made in the affirmative to approve the petition. And this says the planning commission votes to accept or reject the staff recommendation, but it's really votes to accept or reject the petition, right? Considering the staff's recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll update it.
just wanted to make sure
No,
before
I love
tonight,
it.
I wanted to do the right
We
thing.
actually left that in there to see if anyone's like, no, that's true. This language goes with was not updated based on those,
The
that
Robert's
rating. So
rules,
we can
okay.
certainly update that, to make that clear.
Okay, well, it's helpful that we don't have to decide if we're gonna make a motion to approve or not, because we're just always gonna make a motion to approve and then discuss and then
Yeah,
vote,
and then
right?
vote.
Okay. Thank you.
The postcards that go out to 1,000 feet, is it to property owners only, or do you guys do property owners and tenants if it's?
It is currently only property owners. Yeah, it is possible that we could send additional postcards to just the building addresses themselves, but we haven't implemented that.
Any questions?
How long has it been 1,000 feet?
Oh, I
Pretty,
think a long time.
A long
I
time.
think that comes from like our jurisdiction being so big and
Makes
it's been
more
originally a little less dense. So it's
Okay.
like, oh, well, gotta make sure the word gets out. But it is the biggest, I think, like, I don't think we've seen in our research anyone with it.
But we'll
That
have
big.
a public come in and say it's not far enough.
right.
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot of people within that 1,000 feet will say they didn't get any notice.
Yeah.
Or your sign was down.
Or it was on the road where no one drives.
Yeah,
Wrong
that's
spot.
a good point. When we have a monthly meeting before the notice goes to the paper to go over the agenda. And then we decide, what planners are gonna take the assignments, and then we decide where the signs on the site are going to be. And if more than one site is necessary, more than one sign is necessary. So we try to be really deliberate with the sign location as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes you need more than one.
Yeah,
So I think state statute is what, 185 feet, which is like nothing, which was why most of the cities do larger.
I feel like 300, like 500 is really common.
Yeah, 250, 300, 500. And then I thought the signs were, if you had multiple frontages, it had to be on both or all frontages.
Well, as a charter county of the first class, we aren't
You
beholden
aren't beholden
to the same.
to that same standard.
But the zoning ordinance is really specific with
Okay.
a lot of it, like, it's like, the sign shall be 36 inches by 36 inches, and like, the words that are on it are what's in the code.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it only requires one sign technically.
I think so.
Todd, you have any questions? Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you, Bennett.
Thank
Nope,
you.
I do not. Thank you.
You want to adjourn the work
Yes,
session?
yeah,
Okay.
like the adjourn this work session. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have, it. We are adjourned.
You in the other room?
See you next year.
Yeah, feel free to reload.
Oh, I love that case. That's so cute. I know, that is cute.
It's December 8th, 2025, executive meeting, the Planning Commission to order. The purpose of the meeting is to act on requests for change in zoning and special procedures. Take roll, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Ms. Hancock?
Here.
Mr. Bedell?
Here.
Mr. Fagan?
Here.
Ms. Hart?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay. First, we have the minutes of public hearing and executive meeting of October 13th, 2025. Has everybody had an opportunity and chance to read over the minutes? If so, do I have a motion for approval?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Nays? Ayes have it. And then we have the executive meeting minutes of November 3rd, 2025. Everybody had an opportunity to read and go over. Is there any corrections or objections to the minutes? None? Then do I have a motion for approval?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion passes. Now we're moving on to status sheet.
Oh, that's double-sided.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Oh.
What do you got? Where are we at here? Oh. Okay, next we have the status sheet of July 10th, 2025 through December 5th of 2025. I have a motion. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at it? If so, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been a first and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it, and motion passes. Next, we have the new business consideration of petitions from the public hearing. First is PC 35-25, Emily and Thomas Collins.
Good evening, Commissioners. As noted, this is petition PC 35-25, Emily and Thomas Collins, a request for a change in zoning from C4 to C2 on a 0.46 acre tract located east of Lusher Road, approximately 500 feet south of Redman Road, and this comes to you tonight as a letter of recommendation. As the Commission recalls, the site is located in North County on the left, and on the right, you can see it outlined in red. This is just a larger view of the site outlined in red off of Lusher Road. The petitioner is requesting a change in zoning from the C4 Highway Service Commercial District to the C2 Shopping District for the use of developing a daycare. A daycare center is permitted by right in the C2, but not in the C4, hence the request for a change in zoning. The department recommends approval. Commercial zoning remains very appropriate for the area, and the less intense commercial use is considered desirable. The community has expressed a desire for the type of business proposed, and the expansion of a community-owned and operated business is encouraged and desirable. At this time, I would like to request a motion.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the department. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been in first and second. Are there any questions in regards to this petition? None? Okay. No questions, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. We'll move on here to PC 36-25 RC Construction and Remodeling LLC.
PC 36-25 RC Construction and Remodeling LLC is a request for a change of zoning from C8 to M3 to permit yards for storage of contractors' equipment, materials, and supplies, including landscape contractors, warehouse, and office. It's a 2.5 acre tract located southeast of Tesson Ferry Road, approximately 430 feet west of Suson Hills Drive. As the commission will recall from public hearing, this site is located in South County and it's outlined in red on the aerial. From this larger aerial, you can see the surrounding development. So this is a request for a change of zoning from C8 to M3. The petitioner plans to operate a landscape contractor storage yard on this site with indoor and outdoor storage. It would be used for storage of their equipment and materials, and they're proposing one prefabricated metal building on site, which would be used as an office. This is the preliminary site development plan shown at public hearing. I've outlined the proposed building in red. Up on the, it's the upper part of the plan, so it's the eastern part of the site, north is to the left. You can see an MSD sewer access, which would cross the existing stream on the site, so that part of the improvements would go within the stream buffer, but the zoning ordinance allows that type of disturbance within a buffer area, so it would be approvable on the plan. And then they're also showing landscaping along the Tesson Ferry frontage. The department is recommending approval of this request. We find that the M3 Planned Industrial District is the appropriate procedure to approve this use and is appropriate on the site as it had been used for several years as a warehouse for other sort of contractor type businesses. The proposed uses are in keeping with the commercial developments in the surrounding area, and the conditions inherent to the M3 Planned Industrial District will ensure the proposed use is developed in a way that's compatible with surrounding uses and ensure continual upkeep of the site. We are recommending that the paved surfaces on site should include all parking spaces, drive aisles, and equipment or material storage areas. So we are recommending that they not be allowed to use a dustproof alternate surface. And we're recommending that any freestanding business sign shall be monument in style. So at this time, I'd like to request a motion.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation of the department. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a first and a second. Are there any questions in regards to this?
I had two questions. The first one was making sure I understand the clarification. So I know the staff report said that it's a 25-foot setback from the stream buffer, but in the setback section, it didn't seem to add in the clarification of where the setbacks come from that it would also be from the stream buffer, and I didn't see anything else about the stream buffer. I know that's in the general ordinances, but I'm wondering if that could just, it feels like it might slip by because the one general section doesn't identify that a setback could be from the stream buffer. So that was my first question.
I'll double check that in the attachment C. There should be a structure setback section and then a separate like floodplain stream buffer, not floodplain, stream buffer setback section.
And maybe I missed that. I might have read it too quickly. So yeah.
We'll make sure that
if that could be checked.
We can
And
make
then
sure that's included.
My other question is the storage containers. Would you ever consider putting those in the total square footage? Only because they were kind of using them almost like a mini structure, and the structure square footage in the ordinance was limited to just that one building. And I didn't know if you would ever, just because people use storage containers for restaurants and other things like that, if you were wanting to add square footage just so that they didn't have to come back again if like those structures, those storage containers became a little bit more formal.
We could add that if that's the commission's desire.
And I mean, if other people aren't concerned, it's just there were a couple different storage.
If that storage unit is similar, which I'm sure it is, of what you would see behind a Walgreens during seasons because they don't have enough storage. It's in and it's out, but is this going to stay there all the time?
They're showing it on the site plan, so it would be like to the right of the building on this plan is where they're showing the areas for the storage containers. And then they're showing some like outdoor kind of like bin storage, I think, for kind of
Do they
bulk
take
materials.
these
Sorry.
bins, do they take these bins out?
I
on
believe
site?
I apologize. I was taking a roundabout way to answer your question. I believe they are going to be on the site at all times, but I don't know that for a fact. We could confirm that with the petitioner.
So both of those, if it's the will of the commission, both of those adjustments could be reflected in the letter of recommendation when it's brought, because this is
That's
just an
correct.
info
It's just an
report.
info report.
Commission good with that? Okay, can we put that in?
Yep, I've taken note.
All right. Heard that, had our questions. We had a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it, motion passed. Now we're on to PC 37 and 38-25, Pamela Fiedler.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is PC 37 and 38-25 Pamela Fiedler, which is two requests. The first being a request for a change in zoning from the R5 Residence District to the C1 Neighborhood Business District, and a request for a conditional use permit in the C1 District. The proposed use is for restaurant and shops in which food, stuffs, or beverages are sold directly to the public for consumption on the premises. The tract size is 0.14 acres and is located southwest of the intersection of Horn Avenue and Military Road, approximately 1,100 feet northwest of South Broadway. This is coming before you tonight as a letter of recommendation. As the Commission may recall from the last public hearing, this site is located in South County, and the site is outlined in red. Here's a larger aerial of the site. As you can see, it is at that intersection of Military and Horn. So again, this is coming before you as two requests. The first request is for a change in zoning from that R5 district to the C1 Neighborhood Business District, and they are also requesting a conditional use permit in the C1 Neighborhood Business District. The petitioner is planning to open a pizza restaurant at this site. So the preliminary site development plan indicated 7 parking stalls, including 1 ADA stall, and they plan to reutilize the 1,181 square foot building to be used as the restaurant. Staff is recommending approval as the C1 Neighborhood Business District zoning is appropriate. The conditional use permit is also an appropriate procedure. The proposed use meets the 4-pronged CUP test, as it is not detrimental, it is visually compatible, it is desirable for the general welfare of the county, and is consistent with good planning practice. Staff also believes that this will further serve the complete communities and inclusive economies policy goals of the 2050 comprehensive plan. Staff is noting in the recommendation tonight that helping the petitioner reconfigure some of those parking spaces, as noted, the diagonal space, there's also some concerns with a telephone pole out on that corner between Horn and Military. So working with the petitioner during their site plan review process to make sure that the configuration makes sense on site. It also is recommended that the petitioner could look into and possibly obtain on-street credit, which could be granted to them by the Director of Planning.
Can you go back to the site?
Yes,
plan?
of course. So that one that's right on the other side of the ADA space, there is a telephone pole or like a utility pole there. So there are some concerns, but we believe with some reconfiguration and helping them during site plan review, we would be able to get them to that. They are meeting the minimum requirement for the site, which is 4 parking spaces actually. And staff is recommending approval. So at this time, I ask for a motion.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation of the department. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any questions or objections to this PC?
Quick question about use.
Yes.
Do you typically add into your ordinances when they're going to have outdoor seating? Because I know it said like restaurant in the building and then parking.
So I believe in the C1 district, so when we're looking at the overall parking, it's based on the number of seats in the building. Now, in their particular case, because they are below, I think, the threshold, their seats for the 4 right now is because they're below a certain threshold for square footage. But we would be looking at the seating, that would come out during their site plan review process. And then if it's discovered, oh, we're adding 2 or 3 tables outside, we would work with them to configure those parking spaces.
So I'm actually more asking the question of like in your use, you have a use section that says restaurant in building and parking lot. Do you typically add and outdoor seating in your use just so that it's clear that we've already looked at and are comfortable if they meet the parking that they can have outdoor seating? I just didn't know if you did that or didn't.
I personally have not seen one. Mel or Abby, if you guys have any opinion on that?
I don't think we typically add that into the site requirements about the parking area.
Perfect. Yeah. Then no worries. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? We had a first and a second. All those in favor of this PC, signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it, motion passed. Next, we have PC 39-25, St. Louis County Planning Commission.
Hello again. As noted, this is PC 39-25, St. Louis County Planning Commission. This is a request for the termination of a PEU in the R3 on a 4.12 acre tract located west of Becker Road at the terminus of Christopher Drive. And this is coming to you as a letter of recommendation. As you can see on the context map on the left, this site is in far South County, and on the right, you can see it outlined in red. Here is a larger view of the site outlined in red. So this request is for the termination of an expired PEU in the R3. The PEU was established in PC 41-07 Forsyth Becker Road LLC, but no development of any kind ever took place. The planning department determined the PEU expired in 2017, and until the expired PEU is terminated, no other development can take place on the site. We are recommending approval of this. Addressing the termination of an expired PEU is in good planning practice to allow potential future development on the site, and the repeal of the PEU will leave the parcel zoned R3, which is consistent with the zoning in the area. This time, I'd like to request a motion.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the recommendation of the department. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
You've heard have a first and a second. Are there any questions regarding this?
So,
Yes, Urbana.
I took some notes when they were here. And it seemed to me there was some opposition to this. I remember some residents coming. Can someone refresh my memory what the oppositions were?
So largely the opposition was about potential future development of the site. What this addresses is only getting rid of the expired PEU. So this has nothing to do with what may or may not be developed later. This is just the repeal of the PEU, so this does not address what is or is not allowed on the site after.
But if I could add, this zoning district that it would revert to, the NU or the KP, has a 3 acre minimum lot size. Oh, it's
R3.
Oh, excuse me.
R3.
But that's what would determine how it could be developed. But did we discuss what the petitioner?
What was it before?
I think it had been just one. I don't even know if there is a building on the site right now.
There is not. It was going to be a subdivision, and no development ever took place. So there is no foundations, there's no footings, there's nothing. It's just wooded area.
But the developer does want to develop it in the future, but it wouldn't take planning commission action for that development. Right, unless there were a PEU requested.
This is reverting back to R3.
Correct.
Yes. That answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a first and a second on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes? Ayes have it, motion passed. Next, we have PC 40-25, Victory Automotive Group.
PC 40-25, Victory Automotive Group is a request from a change of zoning from the R7 to the C8 Planned Commercial District for vehicle inventory storage on a tract size of 1.11 acres located south of Arthur Lane, approximately 530 feet southeast of Concord Village Avenue. As the commission may recall, this site is located in South County and the parcel is outlined in red. Here's a larger aerial of the site. Tesson Ferry Road is to on the bottom of the screen. So this is coming before the Planning Commission as a request for a change in zoning from the R7 Residence District to a C8 Planned Commercial District for vehicle inventory storage for the neighboring car dealership. The preliminary site development plan shows 99 inventory vehicle parking spaces, a 6-foot site-proof fence along the north, east, and western property lines, a landscape buffer along the northern and western property lines. And they, at public hearing, indicated, and it's also indicated on their site development plan, that no access to Arthur Lane would be happening here. They would do a cross-access to the south of the adjacent car dealership. They did revise their preliminary site development plan. Staff, the only note staff will note on here is they indicated where the proposed cross-access easement would be. I did circle that in purple where they put that label, but no other changes were proposed on that preliminary site development plan. Staff is recommending denial. The R7 Residence District is the appropriate zoning designation along Arthur Lane, a residential cul-de-sac developed with single-family and multiple family residences. The proposed use is inappropriate amongst residential uses. While the plan district procedure is an appropriate mechanism, the proposed use is too intense for the site. The proposed use does not align with the future place types map of St. Louis County 2050, an equitable and sustainable comprehensive plan, which notes that the area surrounding the tract as mixed-use corridor and node place type. So at this time, staff is recommending a motion for denial.
You've heard the recommendation of the department. Do I have a motion?
So motion for approval of the petition.
Yes. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions in regards to this?
Like to make a recommendation that we go along with what the staff has proposed on this and deny the petition.
Right, that's the recommendation of approval of their denial. Would that be
So if
correct?
if the commission is made, if the commission intends to deny the application, this motion for approval would need to be voted down. That's the Roberts Rules way of denying a petition. So it would be a failure of that motion of approval. So there's a motion for approval on the table right now. And if there were more nays than ayes, that would be a denial of the petition.
Even though we're recommending.
The department's recommending denial.
Yeah,
Right.
And my motion was to approve your recommendation.
No, the motion is to approve the request. So the motion on the table is to approve the request by the petitioner. And so if there were more nays than ayes on the motion to approve the request, it would be denied. You want to do a voice vote?
Yeah, we're doing a vote.
Okay. I'll call the roll
Call.
and then indicate your vote, please. Mr. Taylor,
Nay.
Ms. Hancock,
Nay.
Mr. Bedell,
Nay.
Mr. Fagan,
Nay.
Ms. Hart,
Nay.
Ms. Perry,
Nay.
Ms. Williams.
Abstain.
Abstain. So with 6 opposed and 1 abstention, the motion fails to pass and the request is denied.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have to step out of the room. I believe I have a conflict on this next one.
Okay, I will note that.
And next we have PC 41 and 42-25 JHB Properties Inc.
I believe Sandy sealed herself off, so I think we're
Okay.
okay. As stated, this is PC 41 and 42-25. The petitioner is JHB Properties Incorporated. The request is 2 separate requests. The first one is for an R2 to R3, and the second request is for a planned environmental unit inside the R3 district. The proposed use is for single-family residential. It's going to be 40 lots. The tract size is 12.02 acres, and the location is north of Baumgartner Road and northwest of the intersection of Baumgartner Road and Heinz Road. Oh, wrong button. As you can see here, here is the site outlined in red. It is currently 4 different parcels that are going to be combined together. And then if you look on the aerial map as well, here's its location in very South County. Here's a larger view of that aerial. So the 2 separate cases, PC 41-25, that's going to be the rezoning of 12.02 acres from R2 to R3. PC 42-25. The second one is to develop the subject property under a planned environmental unit to construct 40 single-family residential homes. Here you can see the preliminary site development plan. The plan is to develop a new 40 lot single-family home subdivision. 39 lots will be accessed off Street A, which is what they have marked, via Baumgartner Road. The final lot 40 will exit onto Heinz Road. Staff is recommending approval. Residential zoning along Baumgartner and Heinz Road continue to be inappropriate and consistent with good planning practices. The development conditions inherent to the planned environmental unit procedure will ensure the proposed development is compatible with surrounding uses and ensure reasonable improvement to the site. The proposed detention ponds and landscaping would provide an appropriate buffer between the neighboring property and the lots on the site. We are recommending that they put an average of 3 trees per lot throughout the development, just to keep consistent with good landscaping. And at this time, we are making a motion to approve, or recommending a motion to approve, sorry.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation of the department for approval. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Oh, could I ask
Yeah,
a question?
excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we have a first and a second. Any questions?
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure on the preliminary plan, they had 6-foot side yard setbacks versus the 8 that's required in the R3 that's recommended by staff. I just wanted to make sure that they had run their numbers based on their floor plans, because that's a 4-foot setback difference.
Yeah.
And their lots are pretty narrow. Did they look at that? Because all those lots are 4 feet narrower.
Sure.
And for their floor plans, that could be considerable.
Yeah, absolutely. And please correct me, staff, if I am wrong on this. I believe at this stage with everything, we have looked more at the lot sizes rather than what they are proposing currently with the developments. That's just not something that's been calculated into it at this stage with everything.
Okay. So it'll just be looked at once it comes to site plan, and if they can't get 40 units, they can't get 40 units because they can't fit their floor plans in their
Right,
homes.
since we only see sort of the illustrative, not floor plan, but building mass. But also what the commission should know is that after you take action on an information report, we do, I mean, the report's available now, but we also forward it to the petitioner and let them know the commission's actions. And if this created like something that wasn't workable, they would flag it. So there is an opportunity to, if that creates an issue, to discuss that with them, and if there's a recommended change or a request from the petitioner to bring that back to the commission.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right. Being said, all those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it, motion passed.
Thanks, guys.
Next. We have letters for approval.
He's trying to go AWOL.
Mentally, I'm already at the end of the meeting, sorry, guys.
Oh, thank you.
This is correspondence item REPC 10-04, Tesson Ferry Property LLC. The request is for, to amend the C-8 zoning in the area. The use is a fast food restaurant with drive-through and offices, including medical offices. The tract size is 1.17 acres, and the location is west side of Tesson Ferry Road, approximately 350 feet south of Butler Hill Road. As you can see here, here is the site outlined in red. If you're aware of it, is a currently existing Imo's restaurant with an office building behind it. And then you'll see the location in South County as well on the other aerial. Why this is before you today, we are attempting to revise the original ordinance to allow the use of the existing basement section of the site's office building for tenant rental. In doing so, this would also be increasing the allowed rentable square footage of the property from 10,000 square feet to 11,330 square feet to accommodate the basement space. So no new building is being constructed or anything like that. This is just basically bringing in that basement space into the square footage allowance for the site. Recommendation at this time is approval. The request is rational and allows the applicant to operate legally. on site. And then we are looking into up to a 20% reduction in the number of inquired parking spaces may be improved on the site development plan, as at present, they are fairly overparked. And so at this time, staff is making an approval recommendation.
Okay, you heard the department's recommendation for approval. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
Been a first and second. Do we have any questions in regards to this?
Is that a site plan that gets approved administratively or come before us?
This does not have a site plan element at the moment. This is, Imo's has come to us trying to get the site just in better correcting order for everything. They are hoping to basically be allowed to continue using the space they've been using historically legally. They're just trying to kind of fix some, what they believe to be errors from the original passage of the C-8.
So I asked that question in reference to this 20% reduction, because I just heard you say that the site is already tight.
Yes, ma'am.
And so now we're adding in a basement use and on a site parking lot, tight lot, and a 20%.
Yeah, and I may have misspoken. I apologize. It's not currently tight on parking. They're a little overparked, so they could go down in the parking requirement if needed.
And then if I could build on that, the analysis would be based on who that occupant is. So whenever someone applies for an occupancy permit, there is a zoning review that occurs, which would include making sure that based on that new occupant, there is sufficient parking. So if someone came in who was, had a high parking requirement, that's when we would then maybe the trigger of the reduction would be in effect. But to answer your question, it's not something that would come, I guess it is administrative from the zoning plan reviewer.
Okay. We've had a first and a second. All those in favor of this recommendation signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes, ayes have it, motion passes.
Thanks.
And next we have PC 27-12, Keeping the Faith Ministry.
PC 27-12, Keeping the Faith Ministry, is a C-8 planned commercial district governing a 0.67 acre tract located on the northeast side of New Halls Ferry Road, approximately 250 feet north of Parker Road. And tonight they are requesting an amendment to the sign regulations of their C-8 ordinance. This site is located in North County, and there you can see it outlined in red on the aerial. So for background, PC 27-12 was a request for an amended development in the C-8 planned commercial district to develop a church. The ordinance was amended in 2014 to expand the permitted uses to include all C2 permitted uses, except for telecommunication towers and packaged liquor stores, because the church was never developed on the site. So a wider range of uses was desired. Currently, the property owner is requesting an amendment to the ordinance to allow the reutilization of the existing freestanding 26-foot tall sign. The ordinance currently states that all freestanding signs must be monument in style, which have a maximum height of 8 feet. The petitioner provided this exhibit, which is the approved site development plan, which shows it has the existing sign labeled as to be used in place. And these are the from the permit set that was submitted for the new sign, which they want to use most of the existing pole and reduce the size of it and put a new sign on top of it. So on top, that sign with like a cabinet and then another tall cabinet on top of it, that's the existing sign on site. And then on bottom with the American flag graphic, that's the proposed sign. And this is another sign exhibit showing the existing and proposed. The department is recommending approval. The proposed sign is 7 feet shorter than the existing and meets the requirements in the C2 shopping district. We're recommending that we strike the language requiring monument style sign and instead limit signs to what is permitted in the C2 shopping district, except for that signs may not exceed 22 feet in overall height. And that's all.
You've heard the recommendation of the department. Do I have a motion for approval? Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Okay, if not, we've had a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Nays, ayes having, motion passes. And next, we have PC 31-80.
Sorry. I was gonna ask if you wanted to go through the site plans one by one or in one fell swoop.
Go through it all
In one?
Yes.
Would you like me to say what
Okay,
they
so I'm gonna-
are?
Here.
Yeah, I would like to hear what they are.
Go ahead, Abby.
So the site plans are for, the first one is PC 31-83 Ronnie's Enterprises. So this is just the architectural elevations, revised architectural elevations on an existing building. The second one is PC 28-23 Chris and Angela Courtright. This is a C-8 planned commercial district. This is they're reutilizing that existing building and moving the parking from the middle of the site to closer to the property line to allow for better circulation on site. Next is PC 19-24 Stephanie Smith Adams. This is also a C-8 planned commercial district. And they are proposing reutilizing the building as is and the parking as is and proposing some new landscaping along the street frontage. And then PC 33-24 TriStar Real Estate Acquisitions LLC is a MXD, mixed-use development district. And they are showing multifamily, I almost said multifamily retail, multifamily residential apartment building and a dog park. And they have architectural elevations. And we're recommending approval of all of these.
Okay, so I'll just read them out, make it quick. Need a motion to approve PC 31-83 Ronnie's Enterprise, PC 28-23 Chris and Angela Courtright, PC 19-24 Stephanie Smith Adams, and PC 33-24 TriStar Real Estate Acquisitions. That's it. I have a motion for approval of those site plans.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, is there any questions? No, okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Nays, ayes have it. And site plans are approved. Next we have, go to the order.
So Bennett put together the most beautiful year-long schedule for the Planning Commission I've ever seen. So it repeats your cadence of meetings as laid out in your bylaws, executive meeting being the first Monday of the month, public hearing in the second, comprehensive planning committee the fourth Monday of the month, and then extra meetings as determined by the chair. We are bringing you this as an information item, but then also requesting the Planning Commission to consider combining the first two meetings of the year, similar to the way we did here at the end of the year. I think because otherwise we have to send out the packet on like New Year's Eve, which we can do if you want us to, but we could also bundle the meetings together to occur on January 12th. So that's the first item. And then the second is, if you have appointments to the nominating committee, you can make those now.
I will do that. Made some phone calls. I'd like to nominate, or make a motion. Appoint.
You get
I'm
to- yeah,
just
you
going
just get to appoint them.
I'd like to appoint Paula Hart, who's sitting next to me on the left, and to her left, Irvetta Williams, and Todd Fagan, who's out in the virtual out there, to the nominating committee. So please get with each other and do your job.
So we'll set a nominating committee meeting to occur before that combo meeting on January 12th. So it'd be nominating committee first, then an executive meeting, then public hearing. Sort of like tonight, but probably not as long.
I appreciate all three of you taking the time to be on the nominating committee. I just want to let you know I do appreciate that, because it does take more time out of your day. Thank you. And that's it. We're ready for adjournment?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd like to move for adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Nays, ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned until January, what did we say? 12?
Well, till
For
8
9
minutes when we
minutes.
have public hearing,
Okay.
but yeah.
Our next executive meeting.
Yes.
Would you like
January
me to
12th.
mute you all for the moment?
like to call this December 8th, 2025 public hearing, executive meeting of the Planning Commission to order. The purpose of this meeting is to hear and act on requests for changes in zoning and special procedures. We take a roll, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Ms. Hancock? Here. Mr. Bedell?
Here.
Mr. Fagan?
Here.
Ms. Hart?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay. Welcome to the St. Louis County Planning Commission public hearing. This meeting is for the purpose of hearing requests for changes in zoning and special procedures. I'm Keith Taylor, Chair of the Planning Commission. In addition to the other members of the Planning Commission, I would like to introduce to my right, Mel Wilson, Assistant Director of Planning, and the planners assigned to tonight's petitions. I hope you have picked up a copy of the public hearing guidelines brochure and tonight's public hearing notice, which are on the table just outside the door. The brochure describes the format we will use for the meeting, and the agenda lists the order in which we will hear the petitions. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker attendance card indicating the petition you are here for. If you speak, please give your card to me as you approach the podium. If you do not choose to speak, please put your card on the table at the exit to the chambers. The card includes a QR code that you can scan to subscribe to the Planning Commission's agendas. By doing this, you'll be able to access a copy of the Commission's report when it goes to the County Council. The Commission will not make a decision on the petitions heard this evening. Typically, the Commission will receive staff reports and make a decision on tonight's petitions at the next executive meeting in January. Additional comments, letters, and petitions submitted to the Department of Planning within 2 weeks of this meeting by December 22nd, 2025, will be distributed to the Planning Commissioners in their executive meeting agenda packet. Written comment can be sent via email to planning@stlouiscountymo.gov. If additional information is required, a decision may be delayed. The Planning Commission's recommendations will then be forwarded to the County Council, who has the responsibility for the final decision. The meeting will observe the following guidelines. Planning staff will introduce the petition and show photos of the site. Then the petitioner will present the request. They will be allowed 15 minutes. Then persons in favor of the request will speak. After that, persons in opposition or with concern. Persons speaking as an individual will be allowed 2 minutes. Persons representing groups will be allowed 5 minutes. Please keep your remarks brief and avoid repetitive or seconding presentations. After all opposition speakers have spoken, the petitioner will be allowed 5 minutes to answer questions and points raised by other speakers. The Commission may ask questions of any speaker. After each petition is heard tonight, I will ask for a show of hands by persons in favor, in opposition, and with concern. This is not a vote and is not binding on the Commission or the County Council. The purpose is to make the crowd count part of the record for each petition. The first petition tonight will be PC 43-25, Maurice Floyd Sr.
The planner,
Excuse me, sir.
The planner's
The
gonna go
planner's
first.
going to bring up the petition, and you'll be welcome to come up here after she's done. Thank you.
This is PC 43-25, Maurice Floyd Sr. This is a request for a change in zoning from the C8 to R4 Residence District on a 1.10 acre tract located northeast of the intersection of Raymond Avenue and Farmview Avenue. As you can see on the context map on the left, this site is in North County, and you can see the site outlined on the right in red. This is just a larger view of the site outlined in red. This is our land use map showing the current commercial use of the site and the surrounding predominantly single-family area. This is the public hearing sign facing north on the site. This is the inactive cell tower on site facing east. This is the building and cell tower facing south. This is the back of the property facing north. This is the front lot and sign facing south. This is looking north across Widefield Lane. Looking west across Raymond Avenue. looking north up Raymond. And now you'll hear from the petitioner.
Sister, please come up. Get your speaker card, please.
Oh, I'll take that.
Thank you.
Hello, Board. Thanks for hearing our petition tonight. My name is Laura. I'm from Altea Land Surveying. I'm here representing the property on 11896 Raymond Avenue. The petitioner will also come up and talk shortly after I'm done, okay? So we prepared a short little presentation here, a PowerPoint for you. So we're requesting right now that we change it from C8 Planned Commercial District to an R4 Residential District. As they had previously showed you, we are already surrounded all by R4. The interesting thing about this property, it was always originally zoned R4, but back in the year 1991, they asked for this to be zoned to C8. So we're originally just asking for this to essentially be reversed back to the R4 it was essentially zoned as. Now, the zoning ordinance right now is currently using it as a private club banquet facility. That's what it was previously used for. And now we are asking to zone it back to R4. The county has actually requested this because a church is wanting to go in here, and churches are permitted in the use of the R4 zoning district. The ordinance number 15-456 I've added in here, which is basically amending the zoning code for the R4 district. Try not to. This is the legal description of our property, which I'm going to fast forward through because most of you won't want to look at this. Here's a picture of our property and where we're located. Everything surrounding us currently right now is in an R4 district, and we are the only property that is zoned C8. And this is a current survey of our property. The way it stands right now, we have moved the trash receptacle inside a wooden fence, and the current sign they're planning on reusing, and they're not planning on asking for a new sign permit. They're planning on using the existing sign that's there. This is the property to the north showing it's zoned R4. This is the property to the northwest, zoned R4. This is the property to the west, which is zoned R4. This is the property to the southwest, which is zoned R4. Property to the south, which is zoned R4. Property to the east, which is zoned R4. So the permitted land uses and developments in the R4 are permitted strictly for churches, community gardens with chemicals and fuels, daycare homes, dwelling with single families, group homes for handicap occupants, individuals who not need be related by marriage or the operations of this facility, home occupations, libraries, local utility facility, parks, police stations, schools, telecommunication towers. So again, our minimum area for our church is about a half an acre. I'm going to show you some views again of the property, which they had already showed you before, but we are also showing some to the right, to the left, views on Farm View Avenue. So we are asking for us to change the current banquet facility into a proposed church. Does anyone have any questions on the commission for me right now?
Any commissioners? Any questions? I do have one question.
Sure.
Before this was a banquet center, I'm just curious, what was the building before? Do you know?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Thank
Yeah, I'm not
So is
sure.
the building vacant right now?
Yes, it is.
You know how long it's been vacant?
The I will let him come up and speak. He probably knows. Right now, we're trying to get this approved to get occupancy to get the church up and rolling. So I do know it's a short term, thing that we're trying to get this done so they can get in there and start church services. So.
I have a question. So
Yes, ma'am.
did they intend to keep the cell tower?
Yes, at this time.
Is that allowed in R4?
Yes. Any other questions? Okay.
Commissioner, have anything to add?
Yes, I'm going to let him come up.
Oh,
Okay.
sir, could you, yeah, and please state your name for the record.
And then speak in here and I'll give him.
Yes.
Just have to state your name.
Maurice Floyd Sr., pastor of Tabernacle Faith and Deliverance, Church of God in Christ. It's our church. And saying that we are trying to ask you all that we may be permitted to, to get this building rezoned so we can use it as a church. And basically primary use of it would be worship services, outreach services is what we're looking at doing. And we told them already we're not using it as a banquet rental office. We're not doing that. We're using it as a church worship center. That's what we're doing. And also as an outreach service, for the community. Every thing we do with our community, we reach out to them and try to help them and do things that were geared toward them. And that way we felt that by doing that, maybe some people come and join our church and become part of our organization. We have been working since August on getting things up to code and getting things done and getting things repaired and stuff like that. That's what we've been doing. So we have not been in there because we have not received an occupant permit. But we have been having people to come over and certain people, gas people, whatever, and doing what they need to do for the building. And so before we have brought it up to, and it is it's good. It's better than what it was before. It's good. And so I can say that we just waiting on you all to tell us to go in. That's what we waiting on, so just to go in. And we really feel we're gonna be a very great blessing to the area. That's what we're about. We're about, doing things for the area and gearing it toward them to let them know we're here to help them and not to try to drain them or, you know what I'm saying? So it's what we do. We try to do that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any questions? All right. Thank you. At this time, are there any persons here representing a group that wish to speak in favor of this petition? Okay, if you have a card and you'd like to come up and speak. Okay. Are there any individuals who would like to speak in favor of this petition? Okay. Are there any individuals who would like to speak in opposition or concern for a group? Are there any individuals that would like to speak in favor or opposition as an individual? No. If not, at this time, could I see a hand count of people that are in favor of this petition? We got 11.
I think I had 12.
12? 12, okay. In opposition? 12, 0. Okay, well, thank you. That concludes this hearing. Thank you very much. And now we have PC 44-25, Dolic Munib.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is PC 44-25, Dolic Munib. This is a request for the R5 to C1 Neighborhood Business District. It is a tract size of 0.12 acres, located at the east of the intersection of Heidelsheim Avenue and Heidelberg Avenue. Here it is, you'll see it's in South County, kind of on the limits with the city. And then on the right is the aerial, it's outlined in red. And then a larger aerial outlined in red. And the land use showing the commercial use surrounded by predominantly single family. Here's the public hearing sign. Here's the front of the property facing northeast. Looking toward the rear of the property facing north. Facing the detached garage facing east. Looking at the rear of the property facing east as well. And then looking forward at the south. And then the petitioner.
Next petitioner, please.
Okay, thanks.
I can take that card.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Michael Powers, and I'm a Community Development Specialist on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Dolic Munib. This property here at 4687 Heidelberg, go the right way here. Heidelberg, this is a corner store, and the couple purchased it in 2009 and turned it into a grocery that served mostly convenience items, but they also had a liquor license there. Until in 2013, Mr. Dolic opened his heating and cooling business, which is Dole Heating and Cooling. They expanded to need more space, and so the property has been vacant since about 2020. It has always been a commercial use at this site. It's one of the only properties that doesn't have a basement in the area. It's only 1,100 square feet, and it has no side windows or doors, so converting this to residential to be more in keeping with the zoning would mostly require a demolition. There has been significant amount put into it. There was a new roof installed. You can see that from the zoning photos, the new asphalt that has occurred on the paved surfaces. There's also been interior renovations to the structure. It's only 22 foot wide total, and it has an accessory building in the rear. This was used primarily for the heating and cooling business, to store vehicles, to have materials for them to use to go to site. Inside has always been a office space for the company. They did clear out everything on the inside, renovated that little half bath, put the building up to find a new user, had someone interested who wanted to make this their dream for their small construction business, and they actually do environmental testing of things like lead, asbestos, any kind of air toxins. That's when the county informed that that wouldn't be allowed. So what we're hoping for is that the zoning can come more in alignment with what the uses are for this structure as it's been since 1922. So right now that would look like having a church operate out of here, or a group home, or having a school. You know, none of those things would be feasible, right? Or a single family residence, very difficult. Proposed for this site with working with the planning department was for a C1 neighborhood commercial, to allow for some use that would be community serving, most likely a small office business that needs on-site storage, realtor, or we don't know yet, because everybody that had looked at it has walked away because of the zoning issues. So what we do know is that within the current zoning, we can't find a way to repurpose the structure. So with your support on this, I think we can find that expanding this to allow for those small business commercial uses, it won't be as intense as it had been before whenever it was a liquor store. Nobody that's coming forth has proposed for use like that. Anything that would require a lot of off-street parking or that would take up the limited on-street parking for the neighbors. But yeah, so the couple, they've been in the United States since 2007. They've successfully built their business here in St. Louis County and have expanded it. They'd like to, find a new purpose for a structure that's no longer needed for their heating and cooling business, and to do so need to amend and update the zoning. And with that, I can take any questions.
Commissioner, do you have any questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
At this time, are there any individuals that would like to speak for a group in favor of this petition? No. Are there any individuals that would like to speak in favor of this petition? Is there an individual that would like to speak for a group that's opposed to this petition or concerns? No. Is there any individuals that would like to speak in opposition or concern? Okay. If not, could I get a hand count of those that are in favor of this petition? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 9?
Yep, I have 9.
Any of those opposed? All right, so 9 in favor, none opposed, and this concludes this hearing. Thank you. And now we have PC 45-25, Selective Solutions Collective.
PC 45-25 Selective Solutions is a request for a conditional use permit in the R2 Residence District to develop a telecommunication tower up to 200 feet in height. This is a 12.91 acre tract located east of Sappington Road and southeast of the intersection of Sappington Road and Lindbergh Boulevard. This site is in South County, and there you can see it outlined in red on the aerial. This is a larger aerial where you can see the surrounding development. And from the land use map, you can see that the majority of the development around the site is residential. Immediately to the west across Sappington Road is the city of Sunset Hills. And then there's some institutional uses. Right adjacent to the site is a fire district. This is looking east into the site at the public hearing sign. This is looking west across Sappington Road. Looking north up Sappington Road. Looking south down Sappington Road. This is looking east into the site. This is looking east into the site into the existing parking area. This is looking south on the site. Looking south again. This is looking west on the site. This is still looking west. And now we hear from the petitioner.
Hello, my name is Jackson Nadinger with Selective Solutions, here on behalf of the applicant, T-Mobile. So here before you today, we are asking for a temporary wood pole tower to replace coverage that was lost when Missouri American took down their water tank. I believe that was, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow that coverage went offline because of that decommissioning. We did approach Sunset Hills for permission to put a wood pole temporary tower on the existing water tank site. That was not allowed. And then Missouri American, we approached them as well for the for permission to install something, again, on a temporary basis on the new water tower site. That was also declined. So we wound up at St. Catherine Church. It was the closest viable property. Timeline-wise, we're hoping to have that thing there for maybe 12 months. However, we would like to have a more permanent solution done more quickly than that. So again, this is just, I guess I do have a presentation. We're just asking for, again, on a temporary basis. So we're looking at 105.5-foot wood pole. This is showing this is a survey of the property, showing the location. And again, this is showing a little bit more detail with some of the church property, church buildings, the church parking lot, and then that property or the building that you see on the top right, that is the fire station. This is a little bit more detail on what physically we're proposing. It's a 18-foot by 18-foot area that would be fenced, small concrete pad, and again, the 105.5-foot wood pole. Here we've got an elevation drawing. And then this is an aerial of the church property overall. Parcel map. We have determined with the FAA that they've issued a determination of no hazard for the height. We have here the Missouri state statute that covers tower siting and Section 704 of the Telecommunications Act of 1996. And with that, just ask if there's any questions.
Were these, were the water towers over off Gravois Road?
I can tell you the previous water tower was at 11834 Sappington Barracks Road.
Okay. And that's where your tower was, and it came down with the tank?
Correct. Yeah, I believe the water tank is actually still up. But we were, as Missouri American is, planning to decommission that tower, T-Mobile was asked to remove the antennas.
And you don't have a permanent location now?
We're actually working with the church, with this same church, a slightly different location on the property, but we are working with them for a permanent solution. The goal is there's and actually, if I can go back, we look at the aerial. So off to the right-hand side, there's that the field. I guess it's a soccer field maybe, but there are existing field lights there, and we are planning on tearing down and replacing one of those field lights. So the number of structures would remain the same, and then adding the permanent antennas to that new structure.
Any other questions? None? We thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. And at this time, do I have any individuals that like to speak for a group that's in favor of this petition? Any individuals that would like to speak in favor of this petition? Is there an individual that would like to speak for a group in opposition or concern of this petition? Are there any individuals that like to speak out of concern or opposition to this petition? If not, oh, here, come on up. Sorry.
Good evening. I'm Kyle McComas, and I'm a resident of Sunset Hills on Sappington Barracks Road. And I can clarify that, yes, the old water tower is still existent. The new water tower was built right in front of it, but the old one is still there. Admittedly, I was sent here this evening by my wife as we received the notice of this in the mail just today of this evening's meeting. This postcard was postmarked December 5th, Friday, and obviously arrived in our mailbox today. And we wanted to express some frustration that many of our neighbors wanted to, of course, attend this meeting, but couldn't with the short notice. So I did like a lot of the things that I heard and did not realize that this was a temporary structure that was being planned. So some of my issues have been calmed a bit from the presentation. But our main issue is that, seeing as the request is for a tower up to 200 feet tall, even though it's only planned to be 105 feet or whatever it was, 200 feet seemed ridiculously large and out of place in this residential district, which, you know, as I live right across the street, I can say that probably the tallest thing in the area is the fire station, which the tallest part of it might be a third story. So 100 and especially 200 feet would seem an eyesore and out of place. But you know, being a temporary solution until finding something more suitable is at least a much better solution than a 200-foot tall permanent tower.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to speak in opposition or concern? No. If not, I'd like to take a hand count.
Does the petitioner want to respond?
Would you like to respond, sir? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just real briefly on the height of the tower, I believe it's up to 200 foot is what could be allowed. Again, we're just asking for the 105 and a half.
And how about the permanent tower? Would that be 105 and a half also?
So that would depend on the exact ground elevation. I mean, if it's 5 feet here or there, but roughly the same.
Okay.
Is what we,
It would be the same height depending on the ground. It might be a little taller.
Correct.
but
Yeah.
it would
If
be
you know,
the
if
same
if the
ultimate
field
height.
is 5 feet higher, then we would, you know, we could knock off 5 feet. But I will say that the permanent tower, that would be a completely separate application. We're not, you know, we understand that we would be going through the same process for that as a separate installation.
I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. At this time, could I see a show of hands of those that are in favor of this petition? Those that are in favor? Those in opposition are concerned? Okay. Thank you. That concludes this hearing. Next, we have PC 46-25, the Boeing Company.
Good evening. PC 46-25, the Boeing Company, is a request for a conditional use permit in the M1 Industrial District for a proposed use of warehousing and storage of flammable gases and liquids. The tract size is 76.52 acres and is located south of Banshee Road, approximately 480 feet east of Lindbergh Boulevard. As the commission can see, the site is located in North County, and on the right is the site outlined in red. Here's a larger aerial of the site, again outlined in red. Here is the land use map. As you can see, this site is primarily surrounded by industrial utility uses, with some commercial nodes more towards the north. This is looking east on Banshee Road. This is looking west on Banshee. This is looking north. This is looking east, just further down Banshee. This is looking south into the site. This is looking south into the site again. And next we'll have the petitioner.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Stanley Lee with Jacobs Engineering, representing our petitioner, the Boeing Company. Today, we're asking the proposed special procedure of this petition is to allow storage of flammable and combustible materials within the two main areas of the site. Let me go back. So again, site is located off Banshee Road, east of Lindbergh Boulevard, north of St. Louis Airport. Entire parcel consists of 76 acres owned by the City of St. Louis, of which approximately 48 acres of this parcel is leased by this petitioner, the Boeing Company. Current zoning again is M1. To the west of this parcel, we have aircraft hangar and aircraft parking apron. And to the east, they are previously vacant manufacturing building that has been torn down recently. This is the overall site plan within the 48-acre parcel. Again, the two different areas on this site that we're asking for this special procedure is highlighted in blue is the fire pump house. Highlighted in brown is the waste facility. More zoom in diagram on the waste facility. We are proposing two waste shelters. One is being stored as corrosive materials. The other is storing combustible materials. Number 3 on the diagram is a compactor shelter. Again, it's also non-enclosed. Number 4 is a enclosed emergency eye wash and shower. And number 5 is a waste storage building. Here are some perspective views of the waste facility. To the left, we have the two shelters along with the emergency eye wash station and also the compactor structure. And to the right of the screen, we have the waste storage building. Here are some pictures of very similar structure of what we're proposing. Top left, we have the non-enclosed hazardous waste shelters. Bottom right is non-enclosed hazardous waste compactor shelter. This slide shows the total materials inventory within the waste facility. Again, these include oxidizer, class 2, corrosive, and class 2 combustible liquid. Next area is the fire pump house building. To the left is the site layout, and to the right is the perspective view of the building looking northeast. We have a one-story building in the middle, flanked by north and south a fire water storage tank. Within the fire pump house, we are proposing to store diesel fuel in the highlighted area within the building, which is a 3-hour rated storage room. There will be a total of 2,860 gallons of diesel fuel stored in the 4 separate tanks, which these fuels are used to back up for the fire pump house in case there's an emergency. And that concludes our petition for this.
Do we have any questions? Chris?
Good evening. You said the property is owned by the City of St. Louis and the Boeing Company is a tenant that they're leasing?
Correct, yes, sir.
So is this property part of the airport?
It is part of the airport, and they have, Boeing have a long-term lease with the City of St. Louis / airport.
Okay. Just trying to figure out how this is our jurisdiction.
Oh, the city is essentially just a property owner. Since it's in unincorporated St. Louis County, for the purposes of this, the city just happens to be the property owner. They don't have any land use or zoning authority in unincorporated St. Louis County.
Is there anything that they'll have to go through with the airport to get this approved?
I think the petitioner might be able to answer that. I do believe that the airport's, I don't know what the form is, but they probably have had some sort of conversation. Is the airport involved in authorizing this, or does that all happen with the city?
Good evening. My name is Nancy Decker. I'm with Jacobs, and I'm representing Boeing in this presentation, this proposal. To answer your question, yes, the airport has been very intimate with all the design thus far, and they have been reviewing and commenting the design. But the design process still has to go through the St. Louis permitting process, as we all are aware.
Right.
Any questions that I can answer?
We thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, at this time, do I have any individuals that would like to speak in favor for a group? Do I have any individuals that would like to speak in favor? Do I have an individual that would like to speak for a group in opposition or concern? Or do I have any individuals that would like to speak in opposition or concern? If not, can I get a show of hands of those that are in favor of this petition? Count is 10. Those opposed? 0, and this petition is over. Thank you. Now we have a PC 47-25, the Boeing Company.
PC 47-25, the Boeing Company, is a request for a conditional use permit in the M1 zoning, industrial zoning district for warehousing and storage of flammable gases and liquids. This tract is 16.60 acres, located south of Jen Air Drive, approximately 800 feet west of James S. McDonald Boulevard. As the commission can see, the site is located in North County, and the site is outlined in red, where that red line kind of crosses through it on this aerial. Here's the site again, and then to the north, actually in the left top corner, is the site you just heard. So your site for this petition is outlined in red. This site is located, per our land use map, in our industrial utility district. This is looking south at the public hearing sign. This is looking east on McDonald Boulevard. This is looking north. This is looking south. This is looking west onto Jen Air. This is south into the site. And next we'll have the petitioner.
Petitioner.
Good evening again. My name is Stanley Lee with Jacobs Engineering, representing our petitioner, the Boeing Company. Site is bounded by Jen Air Drive to the north and Aviation Drive to the east, and St. Louis Airport is directly south and west of us here. This is also a leased parcel, 16.6 acre, leased by the petitioner, Boeing Company, from the city of St. Louis/airport. Current zoning, again, is M1 zoning. Current use of the land is manufacturing facility. This is the overall site plan of the leased property. This proposed special procedure for this petition is to allow storage of flammable materials within the two-way shelters as well as inside the proposed building addition. These two existing shelters within the site, it's a little hard to see, but it's kind of middle of the screen, that is currently on site will be in place of the new addition footprint, and therefore we're asking to relocate that 350 feet west from this current location. This is zooming into the waste shelter area. Again, we have two non-enclosed waste shelter. One is being stored for corrosive and the other being stored for combustible materials. These shelters are located 50 feet from the leased property and about 68 feet from the proposed building addition. Here are the pictures of the existing shelters on site, front view and side view. And the middle picture is just how they will be moving barrels in and out from these shelters with the containment pallet underneath it. This slide shows the interior floor plan of the proposed building addition, where storage of these materials will be within the orange and the green room there, primarily. This is the material storage inventory within the site, primarily consists of flammable, combustible, and oxidizing solids. And that's conclude our presentation. Thank you.
Any questions?
So can I clarify on that site? So there's an addition going on to the structure, so it's replacing because there were shelters existing. So you're moving the shelters and doing interior. Is that correct?
Correct. The green footprint is our proposed building addition.
Got it.
And then we are essentially picking up the existing shelter on site, move it further to the west, 350 feet. Same
Thank
structure.
you for
No problem.
clarifying.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, this is Nancy Decker again with Jacobs representing Boeing. The shelter that we're proposing right now is existing shelter that needs to be moved out of the way for the new building to be, new addition to be built to the existing building. And the one that was shown in yellow just now, if we can scroll back. So the procedure, the SOP, the standard operating procedures for Boeing is they don't always go to the shelter with every little trash can. So they collect within the building and then they take it to the shelter. Hence, we want to share with you that that's the area that they collect within the building before they go to the shelter. Any questions that I can answer?
I do have a question. When you show that structure, is that pretty secure?
Yes, sir. Which is the reason why they collect the waste within the building first before they go somewhere else. Even the shelter itself is within secure environment.
After that, this entire parcel is bound by 11-foot fence, barbed wire. It's also within the airport facility, so it is as high as secure as the St. Louis
As it
Airport.
comes, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
At this time, is there individuals that would like to speak in favor for a group for this petition? None. Are there any individuals that like to speak in favor of this petition? Okay, are there an individual out there like to speak for a group in opposition or concern? Okay, if not, is there an individual that like to speak in opposition or concern? No? Okay. That being said, can I get a hand count of those that are in favor of this petition?
I count 10.
Okay. I have 10 in favor. Those in opposition? 0. And thank you, and that concludes this hearing. And next, we have PC 48-25 St. Louis Retail Management LLC.
PC 48-25 St. Louis Retail Management LLC is a request for an amended C8 Plan Commercial District. The proposed use is for a bank, restaurant, and all permitted C2 uses. The tract size is 0.95 acres, located east of Tesson Ferry Road, approximately 200 feet south of Town South Road. As the commission can see from the county context map, the site is located in South County. On the aerial to the right is outlined in red. The site is across from Mercy South Hospital. Here's a larger aerial. Again, you can see Tesson Ferry and Mercy South. The land use map does show the site outlined in red as commercial. This is looking southwest onto the public hearing sign. This is looking north. This is looking south. This is looking northwest into the site. This is looking west, and this would be the parcel in question. This is looking west across the street, across Tesson Ferry. This is looking south along Tesson Ferry. And this is looking north along Tesson Ferry. And next we'll have the petitioner. All right, we got a new clicker since you were here last. So arrow down that door.
Hello, Commission. My name is Jordan Chapman. I'm with St. Louis Retail Management, based out of Bingham Farms, Michigan. I was here in front of you guys about 2.5 years ago. It was July of 23, petitioning to have the Chick-fil-A and a proposed Chipotle restaurant approved. Since then, some things have transpired, and ultimately we are now proposing a Chase Bank to replace the Chipotle restaurant, as they will not be moving forward. Additionally, as of October 30th, Chick-fil-A is now open and operating at this location. So I can get into the presentation. What you see is an overall aerial of the former Bank of America site. Right here, I've tried to show the existing conditions plan, which really shows the orange would be a proposed building pad area. There's a picture shown of that. The rest of the site is all currently constructed. So you see the Chick-fil-A on the northern end of the site, and then the full parking field. That full parking field has been constructed, along with all the the underground utilities that go along there with it. Also, since the 2023 Planning Commission, we have since replatted the lot. So we've created two separate lots. One that the Chick-fil-A is situated on, which is has the required parkings and meets all the required ordinance. And then on the south side would be the proposed Chase lot, which also meets the parking standards, landscaping standards, and all the other code items. Here's a proposed site plan showing the roughly 3,000 square foot prototype Chase Bank, along with a modified parking field ever so slightly. If you look at the middle parking island, previously we were showing the dumpster enclosure there, along with 2 parking spots. We've since relocated the dumpster enclosure a little further north and picked up some more convenient parking with the addition of the 6 total, so I guess a surplus of 4 spaces there. Those are really the 2 major changes to the site, were the addition of the parking spaces, and then the site still functions as it was initially designed with the Chipotle. The drive-up ATM faces southward, and the access to the drive-through and the egress of the drive-through looks substantially similar to the previous plan set that was approved. Have the landscaping plan, which is substantially similar to what was previously approved and also installed. Same with the grading plan. Not much has changed in the grading plan, if anything at all. You can see on this plan, all the underground detention that was approved by MSD is already installed beneath grade. The water taps for Missouri American Water have also been made. So the site has utilities. Once the 4 walls for the building's constructed, if approved, the electrical and gas would soon there follow. Electrical will be coming from the south, and gas is also sleeved to that building pad, so we won't disrupt, the existing asphalt and new parking lot that we constructed. Attaches the utility plan, kind of goes into everything, I was just saying. All utilities are, per the initial plan set that was approved. And then here are some elevations showing a mason and stone facade. This is the front entrance, which you'd see facing the parking lot. Have, the north elevation. What you'd see here is the south elevation with the ATM drive-through or drive-up ATM. This would face the south. And then this would be your back of house, which would be facing, or suppose I get to go out of order here. This one would be the back of house, of which is facing Tesson Ferry. As you can see, the utilities being screened. And then here is the north elevation. This would be the one that would be facing the pickup window or pickup door for the Chick-fil-A. I'm here to answer any additional questions, but otherwise, the site is substantially similar to what was previously approved. Obviously, the use has changed over time, and the size of the building has increased by roughly 600 square feet.
I have a question. You said the existing the parking lot for this site has already been built. Is that correct?
Correct.
So what about the part that you were changing for the dumpster enclosure? Is that already, has that been changed or?
Nothing's been changed yet. Everything was built based off the approved plans. So, if this proposal was approved, we would go into site plan review and then also engineering. So those modifications would be done after the full approvals, so we can have them inspected and approved.
So you're going to remove new parking lot, parts of the new parking lot and move the location of the dumpster?
Yeah, the dumpster itself for what was proposed Chipotle was not constructed as things started to change there, so we did not install the footing. We have a cutout for where it would go. So what you'd see is roughly 2 parking spaces would be, the asphalt would be removed and footing and foundation would go down, and then the dumpster would be constructed. So some asphalt will be disrupted, but it'll be very limited.
Any other questions?
So you split the lot for the 2 different uses. Is there a series of access easements to get between the 2, or is the assumption that the bank is going to not want to go through the Chick-fil-A lines and parking lot and going to use
I think both things are true.
Okay.
There is a recorded declaration on the property which addresses maintenance of the shared stormwater facility, signage, parking, access. But each lot also has its own dedicated or its own access on the lot. So I think as consumers naturally become accustomed to using the site, you'll see the Chase consumer base using the southernmost access and Chick-fil-A using the northernmost.
And a question for staff, since it is a C-8 district, other than the use and the square footage, is there much else that needs to be changed from the planned ordinance?
Most of it is substantially the same. And a lot of it, as the petitioner indicated, was constructed, like the whole front landscape buffer yard, I think, is already there. It'll be mostly specific to the building.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, is there an individual out there that would like to speak for a group in favor of this petition? Okay, are there any individuals that would like to speak in favor of this petition? If not, is there an individual that would like to speak for a group in opposition or concern? None. Are there any individuals that would like to speak in opposition or concern? Don't see any. Okay. I'd like to, at this time, could I see a show of hands of those in favor of this petition?
See 11?
Those opposed? 0. Okay, well, that concludes this hearing. Thank you. And now we have PC 49-25, Tom Madden and Sons Construction.
Yes, sir. As stated, this is PC 49-25, Tom Madden and Sons Construction. The request is to rezone from an R2 to an M3. The proposed use is going to be for a contractor storage yard and general commercial. The tract size is located on 1.94 acres, and the location is the north side of Tesson Ferry Road, approximately 100 feet east of Old Limay Ferry Road, and approximately 30 feet west of Heritage Woods Drive. Here you can see the site outlined in red on the right, as well as where it's located in South County on the left. Here's a larger view of that aerial. And here's the land use map to show the current zoning of the site, as well as the zoning of the surrounding areas. You'll note quite a large amount of single-family zoning to the southeast of the site, as well as some existing multifamily and commercial along the strip. Here you can see the public hearing sign. Currently, we're facing southwest on the site along Tesson Ferry Road. Here is looking kind of a little bit further back from that sign towards the southwest of that site. You'll also want to see the site does have quite a bit of a grade on it currently. And there is an existing cell tower offsite as well. Here's south looking out towards Tesson Ferry from the middle of the site.
I'm sorry, I just want to confirm
Yeah.
that's Limay Ferry, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I apologize.
Okay. And I think the first slide might have said Tesson Ferry also.
I think it did as well. This is what I get for trying to read. I apologize.
It takes a little while to learn
Yes.
the ferries, you know. It took me a
Unless you live there.
Exactly, that's true.
That's why I'm here.
And we were not learning that at Kirkwood High School.
No, not in the slightest. Here is a view facing northeast on the site. There are 2 structures currently located on the site as well. Here's looking northwest at one of the structures and looking south at the other structure. And here's to the side, still looking south towards the drive access that currently exists on the site. And next we'll hear from the presenter. Thanks.
I can take that.
Good evening. My name is Mike Madden. I'm with Tom Madden and Sons Construction. We run a family-owned and operated construction company in St. Louis County since 71. Started by my father and now is run by myself and my brothers. Main reason we're looking at doing this is we are working on now a 3rd generation company and looking to build like a legacy or to keep it going. And the main reason for the location is because we've all grown up there, and I still currently live down the street, and so it's obviously a nice area. I've lived there for 50 years. Again, we've operated out of there since 71. Kind of the connection to the area is, like I said, I grew up there, and we're looking to put this in for our business.
All right, and my name is Hale Berthold. I'm with Frontneck Engineering, and we're representing Tom Madden and Sons Construction. Am I going the wrong way?
Yeah, I gotta go the other way.
Okay, so this is just an aerial photo of the site where we're showing some of the streets in the area. Obviously, Limay Ferry Road. It splits into Old Limay Ferry and Limay Ferry Road just south of the site, and then to the north we have a private drive that services the Pepper Tree Square condominium complex. So yeah, and then north is the Pepper Tree condominium, Pepper Tree Square condominium complex. That's zoned R6A. We have the fire station to our southwest. That's a C6. My eyes are good. And then there's a landscaping company on the other side of Lee Ferry Road, Kyle's Landscaping, zone C8. And it's called Crazy Deals Liquor. It's just a liquor store, zone C2, directly across the street. So that's kind of the lay of the land. And yep. So our current site, a lot of this is repetitive, but our current site is R2 residential. It has a single family home. It has a garage on it. And like was already pointed out, that the site's in a big depression. I think stuff has kind of been built up around it. So there's kind of a bowl that the main front yard is in. Obviously, for what Tom illustrated, R2 does not work, does not meet the zoning that would fit with our project. So we are seeking to have the parcel changed to M3 planned industrial zoning, which would fit the proposed use that Madden and Sons Construction has for the property, and would include that ability to store construction related equipment. I think mostly trail. Do you have anything to say as far as?
Yeah, just mostly like temporary trailers, or would be no heavy equipment or large equipment. We don't operate with that. We mainly do like light residential, and then our light commercial and residential construction. So we have some enclosed trailers and just some flat trailers, but those move every day.
And then, so I color coded this, but on the bottom left, to the southwest in green is the proposed Madden and Sons Construction office and warehouse. I believe the office would be the front half, and then the warehouse would be kind of in the back, closer to the service yard. The red area in the middle is proposed leasable office space or other commercial use. But I think the ideal tenant is like someone who's going to use it as office space. And on the end is a leasable restaurant space. And going along with that, we have, it doesn't really work on there, but there's a little drive-up turnaround and then a patio in the island there to the north for people to sit outside. Yeah, not. You can probably speak more about your ideal.
Yeah, it's a pretty
tenant.
low impact, and again, we're gonna live in this space. So it's gonna be our building, and we want it to look nice because it's gonna be a showcase piece for our company. And again, we live in the area. And so we were thinking about, some professional services, whether it be real estate, attorney, what have you. And the hope is to get like a local sandwich shop or something of that sort. Obviously, nothing compared to a Chick-fil-A or any high traffic commercial area. And one big notable item is that we worked closely with Frontenac Engineering and MoDOT for a year. We purchased this property 2 years ago. We've been working with MoDOT closely for the last year and a half. Again, it was really important to us to structure the entrance of this, since we do live in the neighborhood, and I have kids that drive in the neighborhood. And along with MoDOT, we've been working with them in order to put in a turn lane out in front out there. So we've been in partners or whatever with them, or we've been going back and forth. And so we wanted to make sure it was like a low impact area. Again, we live in this area, and we just want to keep it local. And we really would like to put a very nice building in there because the area is in desperate need of it as well. It's a little run down. It's an old house that hasn't been used in years. House has mold in it. Again, you know, people that we've talked to haven't had any opposition to it because we've lived in the area so long, and I know currently businesses all around it. And actually, they were looking forward to it.
And I don't know if either one of us directly said this, but the idea is that the restaurant space on the north has a little pickup window, not a drive-through, but more of a low-traffic pickup window for online order, or, you know, I guess it would be up to the restaurant to decide how they use that. But, yeah, and then like what you were saying, it's kind of the only single-family residence directly in that area. There's the condos to the north, which are, I guess, multifamily, but it's one of the last single-family residences as the area kind of changes over. And then back to what Tom was talking about, we have gone through we've gone through the process of designing a safe entrance for this road and intersection. You guys enlisted CBB Transportation Engineers to help design that and work with MoDOT to learn what their future projects were going to be. One of their near future projects is going to be to add a center turn lane, which we believe will make our entrance even safer for people to turn in and out of. Yeah, so that's an ongoing thing, but that was the current entrance shown was come up with help from MoDOT. And this is landscaping plan. The green areas just show the planted areas. There's kind of along the private drive, this was based on comment from staff, from you guys, along the north side and along the west, like half of the west line will be a landscape buffer along that more residential street to try to buffer residents from the view of the parking lot. And then these are elevation views, architectural elevation views of the proposed building as it stands now. I mean, it's generally, you know, kind of retail in the front with the second picture below, you can see larger garage doors. And then there's two, you know, each side. Got anything?
Yeah, I don't have too much. I think I've said everything a couple of times on the kind of the background and the reason for the location and whatnot. Didn't know if anybody had any questions or anything I could help answer. Any questions?
I do. I have a question. So I was just curious about the safety of having a drive-through and people crossing over the drive-through with their food to get to the outside eating area. Is that what that was showing, or am I not?
Yeah, we have, I mean, it's kind of like there's a standard crosswalk. Oh, yeah. There would just be a little crosswalk. Oh, I'm going forward still. You know, kind of like a normal street crossing. I understand what you're saying there. You know, there's a possibility to add some kind of stop or sign to make people aware as well.
I don't have a lot of experience with that. It just, you know, occurred to me that we would have people with food walking across a driveway and to get to a table. And
Sure. Yeah. Definitely something to consider too with not planting stuff that's going to block driver's view in the front as well.
Yeah, and we just kind of wanted to make it a little bit nicer. There's not a lot of areas around there. Obviously, everybody likes to eat outside or something when the weather's nice. There's nothing around there like that if you can get it. I don't know how often it, you know, would be used or whatever, but it's kind of like on the, you know, wish list of things. And
Yeah.
Like you said, we want to make the entire property look nice, because like I said, our construction company name is on it, we're gonna live there too, so. We don't want people whipping around and,
Of course.
yeah.
I have two questions. One,
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar where your current facility is. Do you have a?
We do not have
Oh,
one
okay.
now.
That's why I was.
We do not have one. We run it out of our house. We run it out of our houses, and we have for the last 50 years, and believe it or not. So, yeah, so and we've had storage facilities before in South County. Primarily our work is in South County. But yeah, so this is like a big step for us.
My second question is, I assume this has gone through MSD already or somewhat, or?
We will be going through MSD. We have preliminary stormwater plans of, of what to do, but I think as part of the full St. Louis County, building permit submittal and stuff, site plan,
Do you
we'll.
anticipate detention somewhere on the site?
Right now, we're planning for underground detention.
Any other questions?
The image and the elevation seem to indicate sort of something between like a two-story in some areas or maybe just really tall ceilings. Do you have an idea? Were you thinking it was going to be a two-story structure or single?
Yep, we do. It's definitely gonna be probably 20 foot in elevation height. So the thought is minimum for our construction company, which is the one that's the furthest on the left with the green, was to build it with a mezzanine inside, so that we could have offices upstairs, kind of since we're landlocked, is to have a mezzanine up there. And we're gonna build the rest of the building in a certain way that it could be possible that that would be an option for somebody, but just if not, they're gonna get tall ceilings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I get a question. Lighting back in your parking area in the rear? Lighting, what type of lighting you're gonna have there? Because you do have the condominiums and you have the residential.
Right. I wish I would have included it in this presentation. It is in our submittal. It was required in the submittal, but we enlisted a lighting company to do a plan that has zero lighting bleeding over onto.
Yeah, and Lighting Associates did the
Lighting Associates.
Lighting Associates did the photometrics on it.
Yeah.
If I could, I have the plan open. There are 4 wall-mounted lights on the back and then 2 lighting standards in that back area.
Thanks.
And then as well, I know you had the fence in there, but you also have part of the fence being the landscaping. Is there gonna be fence all the way around your parking area for your trucks and?
Yeah, I think the thought is at least
For security reasons?
For security, is on the south side which is the left of the green as you're looking at that, is to have like a gated fence that goes back there and also along the right-hand side. Because yes, we would definitely want it secure for ourselves.
The whole purple area would be
thank you.
fenced in.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No other questions? Thank you much.
Thank you.
At this time, do I have an individual that would like to speak for a group in favor of this petition? Not. Do I have any individuals that would like to speak in favor of this petition? Okay. Is there an individual that would like to speak for a group in opposition or concern? None. Are there any individuals that would like to speak in opposition or concern? None. Okay. Then I'd like to see a show of hands, those that are in favor of this petition.
I see 10.
10. In opposition? 0. Okay, thank you. And that concludes this hearing. Thank you. Is there a motion? Can I get a motion for adjournment, please?
So move.
There's a second. Okay, we have A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, and this meeting is adjourned at 8:20. Take a short break here real quick.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back into executive meeting.
All right.
be up
Okay.
and then there are bikes hanging all the
Unmuted.
way up at the top. It's pretty cool. It's a cool space.
I'd like to call this executive meeting to order. Can you take roll, please?
Yep. Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Ms. Hancock? Here. Mr. Bedell?
Here.
Mr. Fagan?
Here.
Ms. Hart?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Next, we have a letter of decision for PC 45-25 Selective Solutions LLC.
PC 45-25 Selective Solutions is a request for a conditional use permit in the R2 to permit telecommunication towers up to 200 feet in height. This is a 12.91 acre tract located east of Sappington Road and southeast of the intersection of Sappington Road and Lindbergh Boulevard. As you'll recall, this site is in South County, and there you can see it outlined in red on the aerial. And this is a larger aerial of the site. As you telecommunication towers greater than 40 feet in height require a conditional use permit in the R2 residence district, and the proposed tower is approximately 105 feet tall. It's 105 and a half feet tall. This is the preliminary site development plan as you saw at public hearing. The tower is proposed on the northeast portion of the site. And I do want to note that it's located 15 feet from the R-zoned parcel to the west. The department is recommending approval of this request. We find that it meets the four-pronged test for conditional use permits. It's a low-intensity use and will not affect the other permitted uses on site. The proposed location within an existing parking area means that no new access route will need to be paved, so it will have minimal impact on the site. It is good planning practice to allow a tower in a populated area to best serve the residents, and this tower is a temporary solution to ensure service is not disrupted. Regarding the site development plan, so in the zoning ordinance, it states that a telecommunication tower needs to be set back from any residentially zoned parcel a distance equal to the height of the tower. So this tower is 105 feet 6 inches tall, so it needs to be located 105 feet 6 inches from any neighboring residentially zoned parcel. As I noted previously, it's shown about 15 feet from the western property line. So the only opportunity for relief from that requirement would be to seek a variance from the Board of Zoning Adjustment. The Planning Commission cannot recommend a smaller setback through the conditional use permit process. So if the Planning Commission granted the conditional use permit at your meeting this evening, they would still need to request a variance from the Board of Zoning Adjustment during site plan review. And then we're also recommending that they show landscaping per the telecommunications section of the zoning ordinance. And so at this time, I'd like to request a motion.
Okay.
Oh, can I apologize? I forgot one thing that they mentioned during public hearing. There was a question about the height of the tower. In the attachment C, as we have it written now, we have it saying to permit towers up to 200 feet in height. If the commission would like us to reduce that to 105 and a half feet or 110 feet, that's a revision that we can make if it's the commission's will. And now that's all I have to say.
Okay. For the recommendation of the department, can I get a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions?
So just,
I have a comment just of adding that, not to go 110 feet. If that's possible.
That was going to be my question also, was whether we could reduce it down to something closer to what they were going to build.
Yeah.
We can build that in.
I just want to say that it's a temporary structure, right? And the permanent structure, that limitation wouldn't apply to that. We have to go back and add a, when they come back, we have to put another limitation on, or try to.
Yeah, if they make a subsequent request for the permanent tower, the commission can instill conditions specific to that request at that time.
And I know it gets murky when we're dealing with telephone towers, but I'm not sure how much power we actually have to put limitations on them if they decide to fight or take it to appeal or whatever, but whatever.
Yeah, well, in this recommendation, you would be matching what they're proposing anyway. And then if in the future they did want something taller, they could come and make that argument to the commission.
Okay, got a motion, we've got a second. All those in favor signify.
So may I just ask a question? So the motion is to
approve the request.
Approve the request, but with the revision of 100, what did we say, 105
Not to
feet?
exceed 110
10 feet. Yeah.
10 feet.
to be safe.
Yeah. Yeah, just to give them some leeway.
That's it. Any more questions? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have that.
Okay.
Abstain, okay. Thank you. Now we have PC 46-25, the Boeing Company.
So PC 46-25, the Boeing Company is coming before you as the letter of decision this evening for a conditional use permit in the M1 Industrial District for warehousing and storage of flammable gases and liquids. This is located on that larger tract, the 76.52 acres, which is south of Banshee Road, approximately 480 feet east of Lindbergh Boulevard. Again, as you may recall, the site is in North County and the site is outlined in red. Here's a larger aerial of the site. They are requesting a conditional use permit to do the warehousing and storage of hazardous materials in the M1 Industrial District. Their preliminary site development plan proposed an enclosed hazardous waste building, 2 non-enclosed hazardous liquid shelters, a non-enclosed compact shelter, an enclosed eyewash and shower station, freestanding loading ramp, as well as the fire pump house that they mentioned during public hearing. They also indicated on their site plan future and some existing buildings that might be on the site that are being torn down and being rebuilt as additional ones. Those are being worked on in other processes through permitting. Staff is recommending approval. The CUP procedure is appropriate to permit the warehousing and storage of hazardous materials in the M1 Industrial District. The proposed use meets the 4 criteria of a conditional use permit, and the proposed use aligns with the future place types map of St. Louis County 2050 comprehensive plan and the recommendations from the plan, specifically regarding the airport and bolstering that area. At this time, I ask for a motion.
Heard the recommendation of the department for approval. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, are there any questions? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Motion passes. Next, we have PC 47-25, the Boeing Company.
All right, 47-25, the Boeing Company is another request coming before you this evening as a letter of decision for a conditional use permit in the M1 Industrial District for the same warehousing and storage of flammable gases and liquids. This is on the 16.60 acre tract located south of Jen Air Drive, approximately 800 feet west of James McDowell Avenue, or Boulevard, sorry. This site is again located in North County, and you can see the site outlined in red. Again, the 16.6 is outlined in red, and then the site you just voted on is to the north in that left corner. Again, they're coming before you for a conditional use permit in the M1. The preliminary site development plan, they do indicate the building expansion. In the red, I circled where those 2 shelters currently exist, and the purple is where they're being moved to on the site. Staff is recommending approval. The CUP procedure, again, is the appropriate mechanism to permit the warehousing and storage of hazardous materials in the M1 Industrial District. The proposed use does meet the 4 criteria of the conditional use permit, and the proposed use aligns with the future place types map of St. Louis County 2050 comprehensive plan, as well as the place types within the plan. for the airport. So at this time, I ask for a motion.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the department. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions in regards to this? Okay. If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes? Ayes have it. Motion passes. I'm going to move for a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes? We are adjourned. And it is 8:40. Yes.
Whew, I thought we were gonna be here all night.
Bye, Todd.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, I'm happy for us to do